warm welcome to my channel. I am Shanti, and in this video I want to talk a little bit about the books that I am reading currently. And it's not just 2 or 3 books that I'm going to be talking about. I am actually reading close to 15 books at the moment. So I'm not really saying it in a bragging sort of a way. I'm reading 15 books at this moment, kind of, but it's more indicative of me evolving as a reader uh, and me experimenting with a lot of like variety of books. And I guess another reason is also that my attention span is quite less, and so I cannot really stick with one book for a longer period of time. But at the same time, I do want to read, so it's like it's much easier to read 5 minutes of one book and 5 minutes of another book next, and so on like that. So these are a few reasons why there's it's such a long list. But through this video, I wish to get some clarity on why I'm reading so many books and what are the different kinds of books that I have in my reading list, and maybe in the process let go of some of these at the moment for the present. So yes, I hope that as a listener you get introduced to some good books which intrigue you, which interest you. Okay, so yes, let's get started. So I have books in 3 different formats: physical copies, audiobooks, as well as Kindle, for obvious reasons. Like I said, I am experimenting, and so all 3 of them give different experiences and they have different needs. Like, I prefer physical copies, but sometimes I don't have access to physical copies. Let's say I'm outside and I'm bored and I suddenly want to read, then I would prefer Kindle. And let's say that I really don't want to put so much effort into reading, then it's gonna be audiobooks. And of course, like it's a very common habit of mine to sleep to audiobooks. Like, I put it on earphones, I put it on timer, and then I sleep. So audiobooks are like a non-negotiable for me. So that's why I have all 3 formats as of now. So we'll start with a few physical copies and then we'll go to the other formats as well. So the first book I have here is The Anxious Generation. So, how the great rewiring of childhood is causing an epidemic of mental illness. So this book basically is talking about how the rise of social media has coincided with, in fact, he doesn't say it's not a coincidence, it has actually caused, the rise of social media has caused a mental health epidemic. And so he talks about the proof. Of course, he's talking about how it's not a coincidence, but it's actually the cause, and also a bit of science into what actually looked like before social media, how development was for a human being. So he calls it the play-based childhood, whereas now we have phone-based childhood, right? So I have read 60 pages of it, and I have found it very, very eye-opening, and I feel that this is a book that has to be read because each and every one of us are being affected by it, not just the generations which have grown up with social media, but also the older generations whose world has been taken over by social media and the internet and this constant connectivity. And so it feels like what is happening, kind of a thing. So I think this is a book that is to be read. It's very, very relevant in the present times. So yes, I hope to complete this book. I don't want to leave this midway. It has been happening a lot these days that I'm leaving a lot of books midway. So the next book is The Moment of Lift by Melinda Gates. Now the reason, like, this title of the book has somehow it has been intriguing to me, The Moment of Lift. And I have actually read a book by Bill Gates as well on climate change, and I am going to be frank, I hated the book and I hated his ideas, I hated his thinking. I feel that it is one of the worst books that I have read. And so Melinda Gates, obviously his ex-wife, I was not really sure if there is gonna be anything concrete, like something that I would really like, but I still felt that felt some kind of pull, maybe I am these days going a little bit into feminism and all that stuff, and somehow I felt this pull, and I thought I'll give it a try. And even though you can see that she's of course a very rich person, and she is, sometimes she can be a little disconnected with the ground realities, but at the same time I can see a lot of genuinity as compared to Bill Gates. And I have this feeling that the Gates Foundation as well is more of her work, more she is probably more of a reason why it came into being in the first place. Uh, so once again, I've not yet completed the whole book. I'm into 40 pages or so, but these 40 pages have given me a good feeling, and some of the points are in fact very, very relevant, especially from a feminist perspective. Uh, from the perspective of a philanthropist, I am not really sure if this book can do any kind of justice, but still, I think it's going to be a good read for me at least. I cannot vouch for its relevance to everybody. So that is one book. And next we have, see, this is Vizag Nets, I don't know how to spell it, Vintage Vizag Days. So this book is actually something I found. So I'm from Vizag, if you're not aware, Visakhapatnam, which is in Andhra Pradesh. And so this is a book that I found in a local bookstore called Pages. And this is basically a collection of articles that was published in the Hindu about, sort of tidbits about, Vizag, a little bit of history here and there, some, incidents. And I personally found it quite good because I'm from Vizag. Again, I cannot vouch for its interestingness to other people as well. But some of the articles, of course, are not really like it didn't feel like it's very important. It didn't feel like there was any substance. But some articles did have interesting tidbits about the history and the character of the city, that is Vizag. So yes, this is something that I'm reading one article at a time. Obviously it's easy read because you can read one article at a time, there's no connection. So I read it from time to time whenever I just feel like I want to remember Vizag. I am a huge fan of my city. So yes, that is one book. I think we can talk a bit about audiobooks before we go further with the hard copies. So one book is Fear. So Fear by Thich Nhat Hanh. So this is an audible. This is in the audible format that I'm listening to, and this is one of the classic books that not this Fear book per se, but Thich Nhat Hanh books are some of the books that I fall asleep to. Okay. So I usually put it on timer, like I said, and I fall asleep. It feels very, very calming to me, especially if I am feeling a little turbulent, and sleep can sometimes be hard to come by for me, and this book is like a perfect lullaby for me. And the next book is Heidi. This is one of my favorite children's classics, and I actually like it in this audiobook format. It's been I have read it in the physical format at a very young age. I don't even remember if I've I don't know when or did I even read it at all. I don't know. It is in the audiobook format that I have listened to recently, and I have fallen in love with the book and the narration as well. In audiobooks, narration is a huge, huge factor. If the narration is good, then it's just going to add a whole new layer of character to it. So Heidi is again another book that I tend to fall asleep to. And of course, I keep rereading it. If you're someone who's been following me for a long time, you're probably bored about me talking about Harry Potter. So I keep listening to it over and over again. And especially since the last 2 years, it has been quite difficult for me from a mental health perspective. Harry Potter is one such, it's like escaping into a world that can feel safe. So even if the world outside feels very chaotic and depressive or meaningless, there is this world that I can escape into, which will calm me, which will give me a safe space. And Harry Potter is that for me. And since it is a series, it's of course like quite long. You can keep listening to it. So it felt like a companion book for me. So companion books is something that I defined for myself. These are the books that sort of stay with you, like you're feeling alone, or you're feeling you're on a journey, let's say a mental health journey or a growth journey, or any such personal journeys. And these books sort of when you read them, it feels like you are with a person and they are giving you a safe space, they are listening also. So Harry Potter is one such companion book for me, offering a very safe space for me during turbulent times, during times of uncertainty. So that is one book. So these three are audiobooks which I often fall asleep to, or they are like safe spaces for me. Another audiobook is a non-fiction book, which is Against Empathy. So this book was actually recommended by my mom. She read it in the physical book format, and this book has really like Against Empathy is basically like the title says, it is it's providing a case against empathy, because empathy is it's a characteristic that is so loved and accepted and embraced as a very great quality, but that's not really the case. And it may feel like this is so like me just saying that empathy may not be the good quality, it might trigger you, but that is just the reality. You will have to see to it, see it in a different way, not in the way that we are used to listening about empathy, that we need to understand others' pain. This is how we think about empathy, right? But there are people who can understand what others feel, and they can actually use it to control people, to manipulate people, to get what they want. And that is empathy. They are using empathy. They know, they understand how the other person feels. So understanding how the other person feels is itself not, by itself is not good or bad. It is just a quality. And a person can use it for something good, or can be used for bad as well, right? So that is basically the whole of this book. Of course, I've not read it completely, but I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna be agreeing with it. Especially recently, I have gone through a time where I felt like I was manipulated by someone, and that someone, I really thought that they were very good, they were a good person, and they really wanted to take care of me or something, but that didn't turn out to be the case. They were manipulating me by using empathy, and so it's like a real life example. I know how it feels when I used to feel that she really gets me, and then I understood she was using it to manipulate me, to take control over me. So yes, I am currently very emotional about this book. I guess I'm going to be a huge fan of this book. So yes, these are the books. Yes, there's one more book in audiobook format that I've only recently started, which is Famous Five on the Smuggler's Top. So recently, I have actually started Famous Five series from the book one. So as a young kid, I used to read Famous Five, but it was like haphazard. I read, the second book and then 21st book and then 16th book. So there was no order to it. Of course, order is not required in Famous Five books, but this time I really thought I wanted to start it from the top. So the first book, second book, third book I've completed in the hard copy format in the last year. So the fourth book, I just felt that why not listen to the audiobook? So that is one audiobook that I've only recently started and I am actually liking it. So I think, yes, I'm going to enjoy that as well. I have been talking about these books and I had this intention that maybe some of the books I should let go. But till now, I don't have the intention of letting go any book. All of these books serve a specific need for me. Maybe to make me fall asleep, maybe to escape, provide an escape to another world, or to give me a whole new experience. Or sometimes like Famous Five is a book which you go to when you want to it's very easy language, right? So you don't have to like put much effort into it. So instead of watching a movie, if you can just listen to this children's book, it's more like it's going to engage you for a longer period of time and it's going to exhaust you less. So yes, till now I don't think any of the books that I'm reading I'm going to let go. So let's see how that goes. The next book is actually quite a special book. This is The Arrival. And this is a book that I found in the Delhi Book Fair, World Book Fair. So the speciality of this book is that it's actually all pictures, but it's not like comics, okay? So there's not a single text that is present here, and you are supposed to understand the story through the pictures, so the sequence of pictures, right? And I just felt that I wanted to like evolve as a reader, right? So when you don't have text, how do you really make sense of the intrinsic things that are being told, that are not like when there is text, there is explicitness, like we are specifically being told that this is what is happening. Of course, there are some texts which are not that explicit, but it's still explicit as compared to a picture. But here, I have a feeling, at least as far as this book is concerned, I have a feeling that it's a little more complicated and it sort of engages another kind of thinking capacity to read this book through pictures. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I really hope that if it is possible for you, you find this book and give it a try and see how it feels for you. Because it's not just any pictures. I don't think it's just any pictures. So this is a book that I have been quite enjoying, and I am reading it like there are like parts in it. So I have currently completed 3 parts. I am saying it as if like I'm completed, in the sense it will take so much time to complete. It doesn't. It takes around 5 to 10 minutes to complete one part, but I'm doing it very slowly because I sort of want to really like let it what do you call sort of sort of like digest into me, bit by bit, trickle into me, not just like complete it fast and then forget about it. So I wanted to spend a little more time, so I am reading only one part at a time, even though it's quite easy to read each part. But if you're reading it at one go, of course you can complete it within an hour or so. Next book is A Brief History of Equality by Thomas Piketty. So this book is probably the book that I'm going to let go. So the reason is that, so if you don't already know, Thomas Piketty is a prominent person He's an economist, I guess. Um, he's a professor at the Paris School of Economics and co-director of the World Inequality Lab. So he's a pretty well-known intellect, and I have actually another book of his articles that he has written. But the thing with this person is that, first of all, obviously, like, I am going through a sort of attention span issue these days, and so this book is a little more dense in terms of, like, it's cognitively more burdensome. I hope, like, the density of, like, one page will take more energy, right? Compared to the other books that I have told. So I am not really in that stage where I want to give that much energy to a topic which is not like, I am interested about the topic, but I don't feel that it is relevant to me right now. And I'm not sure if I can give that kind of attention to this kind of writing, which is a little it's not an easy read, especially for someone who's not already well versed with the topic. So that is exactly one of the reasons I don't also like the book. I feel that it's very ironic that A Brief History of Equality is it's actually a book which is written in such a complex language, or maybe written more for the intellectuals or scholars, that it's actually not that accessible for everyone. And so the title itself is like ironic, like A Brief History of Equality, but it can only be read by intellectuals and highly educated, or people who are already well versed with this topic. So I am a little not very supportive of that. I feel that it should be made a little more easy, but I don't think it's possible for someone like Thomas Piketty. I feel that he is one of those people who is more like a privileged scholar, and who doesn't really understand when what it means to be to not be in that privileged circle, because probably he has been born and brought up in that. Maybe I'm making assumptions, I don't know anything about his life, I've not checked it out, but it's just the feeling that I have. And so, not really a huge fan, but I do think that it is an important read, because he is one of the leading intellects of our times. So in that sense, I think it is an important read, but I think for now I'm going to let it go. Next book is The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work. So this book is actually, this is the second time that I'm reading this book. I read it on the audiobook format a few years ago, and I am a huge fan of this book, and I will recommend this book to anyone and everyone who is married or even in a relationship, because it really tells you the kind of things that can ruin a marriage, and the kind of things that you can do to save your marriage, or even to, like, bring a sort of joy into your marriage. And it has worked for me a lot the first time around when I read it. There's one particular thing which I really loved the first time around, and I still remember it and I still follow it from time to time, is the concept called the emotional bank account. So he talks about marriage being like a bank account, wherein you have to deposit good memories, good feelings, good emotions, and then when some chaos happens, or there is a fight that's happening, a turbulence that's coming up, it'll be like a withdrawal, right? You're withdrawing from the emotional bank account because there are some bad things, negative energy that is happening. And when there are not enough positive emotions in the bank account already, there's not enough deposits that are done to the bank account, then problems are going to drain you more. when compared to the times when you have made enough deposits of good memories and good energy and love and joy and all that. And I feel that's quite important, um, because it's obvious that any marriage, any relationship is going to have a lot of conflicts, a lot of turbulences, and a lot of challenges that the couple needs to face together. And if there are not enough love, enough foundation for it to stand on, then it becomes very hard. Those hard times will destroy you or will separate you. And so that is a concept that has really stuck by me. And yes, this is a book that I am using as a companion book. That means, like I've told, to read it one step at a time for few pages each day, and you feel good about certain things. You remember certain things. Ki, haan, yeah, this is something that I have to do, and it's like a companion book. So I'm going to take my time, read a few pages each day, and maybe even if not each day, each week, one Sunday or Saturday, I'm going to read it. So yes, this is going to be there for a long time, and maybe somewhere along the way, I'm going to stop reading it. Uh, I'm going to stop, midway, but that's okay. It has still served as a companion book for a period of time, and it has served me it's served as a reminder for me to do all of these positive things in my marriage, in my everyday life. So that is this book. Okay, I have already been talking so much. I will drink a little bit of water. And I hope that I am not boring you. And if you have stayed till this point of time, then I am quite grateful. Thank you for your interest in the books that I am showing. So there are a few more books. The next book is The Art of Creating. This is a book that has intrigued me because I am actually quite serious about content creation. I absolutely love doing content, and even though it feels like I am not really putting much effort into my videos or my photos that I put on Instagram and all, I am actually emotionally invested in my content. When I make content, I have like a lot of emotion, a lot of joy that I have when I am creating. And I wanted to I have read a lot about creating content on LinkedIn especially, but I also, like, when I saw this book, I also felt that it's time probably for me to read a book, because a book sort of gives a fullness, about a topic. So I did like this book, and it's actually I really respect this book, and I actually want to make a separate video on this. I hope I will make it, but I will tell a bit, so that even if I don't make a separate video on this, there's something about this book. So this book is basically like, you will see that there are a lot of things are being repeated throughout the book, but it doesn't feel boring. It doesn't feel, why is he repeating so much? It doesn't feel like that. It feels, once again, like you're coming at it from different directions. You are telling the same thing, yes, but you are coming at it from different perspectives, which actually enhances your understanding. Okay, so there are some books which are quite repetitive, and they are telling the same thing, and they are just using different stories or different instances to prove the same point, same perspective, same approach. But this book is not like that, and that's why it's I cannot like really explain as to how he managed to do that, uh, but it's actually one of a kind book that I read this way. I cannot really explain why it is one of a kind. I just know something is different about this book, and this guy is a genius in a sense. So if you are a content creator, or of course if you are like any kind of, if you are into painting or writing or any kind of creation, you can give this book a try, and I am pretty sure that it's going to change the way you look at it and help you further in your journey. And finally, in the physical copies, I have this book, Satellites. So this is a book which is actually from DK Publication. DK Publication. So I don't like books from this publication, so I bought a lot of them in the past, and I have not felt that they were written in a way that it felt like very chaotic, and understanding things was not very easy. But this book is surprisingly not like that. It's very well written, and you can actually make sense of things. Probably, it depends on the authors as well. So these authors have made sure that this book is in a format which is readable for people who want to get like a brief understanding, overall understanding about this particular topic. So this is about satellites, and so you have like a basic understanding of what's on a satellite, what are the parts that we have, and how they may be put into orbit, and what are the various applications. So I am quite interested in, of course, technology and all. I want to keep myself updated, not only as like a person who uses technology, but also as an engineer. I want to keep myself updated about all of these things, since especially I have left sort of my subject behind. I do feel that longing, that because it was such a big part of my life, and suddenly now it's not a part of my life. It feels like I feel lost basically when I realize the fact that science and technology and engineering is not in my life anymore. So I need to go back to books like this just to get kick out of it, just to remember ki, yes, this is who I was, and probably this is where I would have been working in if I had continued. So so that's the reason I need books like this from time to time, but it needs to be easy so that I am not wasting a lot of energy on these books. Like, I don't need to know how exactly a satellite works and all that, right? I'm not a professional in that. So a little, this kind of a book to get me connected with my subject. And finally, I have one book on Kindle, which is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So this book, once again, I have read it before, but I am once again reading it, and I am actually reading it on Kindle just so that I have a book on Kindle. I have actually reduced reading on Kindle because it strains my eye a lot. But I just thought, okay, let's just keep one book which I will read whenever it feels like I don't have access to any other physical copy. But I am quite glad that this is the book that I chose, because once again it's serving me as a companion book, reminding me of things that I have forgotten, and so it's like each time I read, it's those concepts are like coming back into my daily life, and they are making things a little more positive. And yes, that's always a good thing. To read a good book is like inviting that book into your life, all the positive energy of that book. So yes, that is about it. And yes, I guess that's the list. And I hope that I did not bore you with all of these books. It's more than half an hour since I started this video, and if you have really stayed till the end of this video, then I am really grateful for it, and I am happy for you as well that you are so interested in books and reading in general. So that is all for this video. See you again in the next video. Bye.